Yes. Okay, well, let's get right into it. So we've got some questions from some other dads. So Mike from Michigan asked about the dad tax. And the question he asked is, how do you determine your dad tax rate? Is it a flat rate or progressive? And do you offer any tax breaks or incentives? So how do you determine your dad tax? Well, first off, let's describe.
I was about to say, what
tax
is a dad tax, right? So dad tax is like what the kids have. Like, okay, so I mean, I guess let me ask you this: is your dad tax on everything that the kids have?
Well, it's. I think a simple definition is that dad is entitled to first cut of whatever he determines that it's going to be. The second part of that is when it comes to food, are you testing it if it's poisonous? That's what I always say. Hey, let me do the poisonous check. Yeah. Right. Specifically with like candies and sweets and stuff like that. You got to make sure it's good.
Make sure it's good. That's right.
Yeah. So, but I do believe there's a dad tax beyond just food and other things. Like that. So what about you? Are you just strictly food, or does your dad tax extend into other items like video games? Or?
Mine's mainly food. My kids haven't gotten into video games. So we have one video game. That didn't last very long. I don't think he's played it in a long time. I think as they get older, it'll definitely be, and if we do have some gamers, and especially if we get into sports games, because that's what I like to do growing up. Right now, it's mainly food. So like, if kids have a bite of pizza or some ice cream or things like that, like I'll take a bite out just to just to make the kids mad. Yeah, that's why I do it.
Gosh, and when taking the dad tax,
exactly.
It's the best. So my dad tax is strictly determined by how hungry I am at that moment.
Okay.
So if it's been a while and Daddy Bear hasn't had anything to eat, and the kids. So again, love my wife. She's always taken out for the kids first, as she should. But if Dad hasn't eaten and she's got breakfast and eggs and those layered Pillsbury biscuits out, and she's serving it, Dad's going around and he's picking up a bite in it. And I've got it, at least I'm fair and equitable. So 2 kids.
Okay.
So if I'm taking a bite out of one scoop, I take a bite out of the other. Yeah. So it's double whammy.
Yeah.
So at least it's equal distribution right now.
So I think I'm more of the cleanup crew. I'm more of the
so
cleanup
you're
crew.
at the end of the tax.
Yeah. I'm like, if it's left, like I'll never let food go to waste, obviously.
Yeah.
So, if I want a bite, I'll grab a bite, but a majority of my stuff is cleanup duty, like whatever's left. Even if it's a half-eaten chicken nugget, that's not going in the trash. I'm gonna eat it. You know what I mean?
I wonder how our government would work if they took the last cut instead of the first cut.
Probably way better.
Well, depending on what's going to be left. But so again, and we reference it to this, like think about when you get paid, right? So the government's taking theirs, and then you go to actually pay for something, and then there's a sales tax on that. And then if you sell said thing, there's tax. So it is just tax.
We're setting them up for success later in life. Like that's, hey, here's reality, son. Somebody's always going to have their hand out and getting a piece of it. So just get ready.
Yeah, I take a front end tax, but I'm also on a cleanup crew.
Oh, okay. So you double dip.
I double dip. Yeah. Well, and I don't understand why they get so mad about the dad tax up front, because they don't ever finish their food.
I agree with that.
They're initially just angry about it, but then I'm like, well,
you're not going to finish your food.
I get it. and then there lies the problem of, we talk about fitness here and calorie tracking.
Yeah.
Those are conveniently left off the calorie tracking
Absolutely.
app.
Oh, man, I had like 7 chicken nuggets today because I had 5 bites, and then I cleaned up, and it's like, oh, that's another 240 calories that didn't make it into my tracking.
Well, and two, I don't know if you consider this dad tax. I probably do, but we talked about last time what are you feeding the kids?
Yeah.
And the air fryer and whatever you can dip in the air fryer. But I always pour it's like I always pour first, and then you just see the quantity that's in there, and you're like, well, that's probably good enough for them. Add in a little bit more for you. And then, like, you realize that your dad tax is 50% of that. And then you're dividing the 50 between the two of them.
Right,
so
that's right.
It's really like a 75% tax.
Yep, that's right.
I saw an image the other day, and this reminded me of my dad, and I do the same thing, but it was an image in a kid in the car seat, and it was taken from the point of view, like you could see the bag of M&Ms in the kid's lap, and the dad is driving in front, and his dad's got his hand wrapped behind the seat with his hand out.
That's pretty good.
I do that all the time, man. Like that's the dad tax, and they're like, Dad. But now that the kids know, so let me ask you this: do you offer any tax breaks or incentives? Like, let's say when they get older, or if they do some of their chores with a good attitude, are you then not taxing as much? Or if you've just had a really good meal?
I mean, my incentive is to just give them stuff. That's how I do it. If you do this, we'll stop and get ice cream on the way home. And then I still tax them.
Yeah. And ice cream is such a good way to get it.
Oh, absolutely.
Are you like the first lick of the ice cream? Like, do you get a different flavor for each kid, and then you're like, and then hand them back to... Is that where you're at?
So my kids they're kind of vanilla, right? And so they just like vanilla. So I'll get maybe a little bite out of one or the other.
Those palates are gonna further be refined. And you're gonna. We go to this place that's shut down. It's called Cookie Dough Magic, and it's like cookie dough, various types of cookie dough, and they range from like Cookie Monster, which is this blue Oreo type thing, to cookie dough. I mean, dad tax legit on that. Like,
sorry.
Whoa, way to go there, buddy.
Sorry.
But I'm dad taxing out of that. So let me ask you this: what happens in case of tax evasion? Is there a penalty that you're implementing?
Now, I will say this: we have had to put a one of those little spiral things that go over your knobs for a pantry on it because our kids were going in and sneaking food. So, yes, there's absolutely a penalty. If they got their food or snacks or something that we told them not to, like my kids are into marshmallows right now, big marshmallows. My daughter has learned where we put them. So the other day I walked in there and I'm like, where's Bennett? She had pulled the dog food container, slid it over behind the door, climbed up, and had grabbed the small marshmallows and gotten them down and was sitting underneath, hidden, eating marshmallows. So, of course, Dad got frustrated, and then he ate a handful of marshmallows. So, yes, absolutely.
You joined the club?
Yeah, I joined the club. My wife came around the corner and found us both hiding, eating marshmallows together.
Well, and we talked about this last time, but like anytime my wife goes to Costco and she buys the big bags of cereal, but she bought the assorted Oreo packs. And I'm not complaining, but there is a penalty because my kids, and sometimes like I'm trying to eat healthy, and the dad tax may be a delayed dad tax. Yeah. So it may come later in the week. It's not initially, I don't take it all up front all the time. But these packs, it includes the double stuffed Oreos, which we all know are the best.
Yes.
The original Oreos, and then the vanilla Oreos, which I really like those too. Okay. And by the time the end of the week comes, the kids have destroyed and eaten all of the double stuffed because they know that that's the good stuff. Mm-hmm. And then they go next to the vanilla. And then you're just left with the ordinary Oreos. And I'm not complaining because that's good.
Yeah.
But to me, that's a form of tax evasion. There should have been several packs of the double stuffed. And because it's just a level of disappointment. As a dad, you go in there and you're like, you're just looking at the scraps, and it's like, man, I'm good for cleaning up a plate, but when you got the gold, I don't want the silver. Man.
Agreed.
You know what I'm saying? So it's so let me ask you this last question on this. Do you take a end of the year like tax? You know, like we pay our taxes at the end of the year. Mm-hmm. Are you taking like an end of the year kind of?
If they get a cool Christmas present, absolutely. I'm going to be playing with that thing more than they are.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And part of the tax comes into play from the opening of the gifts.
Oh, yeah.
And we talked about this either. Like you need some serious DeWalt firepower to open up some of these gifts.
Correct. Yeah.
And the level of effort that's required to open that, it is only fair that the dad is. And how this manifests in the reality is I'll be honest, I'm not a huge video game guy. I was growing up, but I mean, now that there's other things that keep us occupied.
Yeah.
But when we got a Nintendo Switch and subscribed to the vintage video game,
I have that too.
Tecmo Bowl got an instant dad tax.
Yeah, absolutely.
Kids so frustrated. They wanted to play all these video games. I'm like, well, let me take you back to 1984.
Was it 84?
84.
Yeah.
Of course, I was a baby then, so I probably didn't really play Tecmo Bowl.
I played it in the 90s. Like, it was, 90s. Yeah.
But yeah, that's a cool, it's a drone. Dad's got first flight rights.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, anyways, the dad tax, very interesting. I just love how
that was a good question, Mike.
Frustrated. Mike from Michigan. Way to keep it strong.